decided to become a teacher because I really wanted to help people. In fact, I wanted to help people learn how to write better. That was my goal. Also, I was raised in a family of educators. My dad was a teacher, principal, counselor. My mom was an elementary school teacher. My sister was a teacher. So it was kind of what I knew growing up. So I think that was another piece that kind of drew me to it, was something that programs. I would look at different schools around and see which educational programs seem to fit your needs best. The program I was in, for example, at the time was at Michigan State University. It was called Multiple Perspectives Learning Program, and it had a lot to do with cooperative learning, different levels of kids' engagement, and that fit for me at the time. So I think there's a lot of different types of programs out there, so I think you want to investigate what type of educational training is available to you. And some, for teaching, you have to do a student teaching requirement. Some of those now are a year long, some are a semester long, so you have to consider all of those things when you go into it. I would also suggest that you get out there, and by get out there I don't mean just go back to your old school that you went to and say hey to your teachers, but see if you can get in and meet some teachers who are working in environments other than what you grew up in, so that you can see what it's like in other places of the world, because we tend to know what we know and we don't know what we don't know. So. English teacher, preparing, engaging lessons every day for kids, giving them valuable feedback on their work that they do for me. So there's a lot of paper reading that goes with being an English teacher. Even smaller assignments take a long time to assess and give feedback on because it's always written. There's very few multiple choice kind of things that we do. So that, preparing lessons, engaging kids, talking with parents who, are concerned about their kids' social, emotional, academic health. Whiteboard, smartboard, computer, Elmo. The kids use their phones a lot, iPads, iPads, laptops.
And you're saying that as a valuable resource, right?
Yeah, I think it is. And here we don't mind, as you know, we don't mind if people use their phones. We always feel like they've got the internet available to them, most of them in their pocket all the time, so we like them to be able to use that as needed. Here at the program there are other things, robotics and cameras and such. I don't use those personally, but it's available. Excuse me, we use online resources like Edmodo and Facebook and Remind 101 and those kind of things to give additional support to kids out there. Yeah, writing and reading every day in the English classroom. I mean, obviously the kids are using it to communicate to me what they're learning. I'm using it to communicate to them what they need to improve on, and give them feedback about what they're doing well. Reading, we read novels, we read articles, we read everything in the English classroom. So writing and reading are obviously. The day-to-day, every day with the kids is the best positive. The moments when the kids get something that's been difficult to them, or they have that realization of finally something clicking. Academically is important, personally for the kids is important. When you see them grow as individuals, as human beings, that's really very rewarding. They're fun. I get energized from the kids. That's a fun part of my job. That's a rewarding part of my job. But the relationships with the kids and with their families, I think, is probably the most. The hardest part, honestly, is I've been thinking about this a lot lately. It's very hard to leave it here. It's very hard to walk away at 3:30, 4 o'clock and say, "Oh, I'm done with work for the day." Yeah, I try to, because I have 3 kids of my own and a house and a family and all of that. But it's always here. Right now I've got 90 essays waiting on Turnitin.com for me to look at, and they've been there for a week. And it's a time factor. It's finding a balance between my own kids at home and doing what I need to do for them, and my kids here at school and doing what I need to do for them. So I think that's the most challenging part, and that's the part I think that is the, it's kind of exhausting, and I think it's why. I guess I'd say really talk to a lot of people and really find out what the benefits and what the challenges are. Find out what you're getting into. A lot of people, I hear a lot of people saying the climate for becoming a teacher in Michigan right now is not very good, and in many ways it's not. We're being held to standards that we have no control over. It seems like there are always laws are being changed, requirements are being changed at the state level, and nobody's talking to the teachers about what's actually happening in the classroom. That's what it feels like. Just now, there's legislation now to change this color coding system that we were using last year to rate schools and change it to an ABC grading system, and it just gets so frustrating. So I only go on that little tangent because it is kind of a difficult climate to be a teacher. So I would say talk to people and see if
you love it enough.
Exactly. If the benefits outweigh the stuff that you have to deal with. It's never, it's never the kids that make me want to throw in the towel. It's never that. It's the other pulls on my time and on my conscience, that I know what's the right thing to do, and sometimes I feel like I'm not able to have the time to do the right thing, so I just have to continue. So a typical day is class starts at 7:45, so I'm usually here by 7:20. Kind of prep the room, get the room started, just make sure it's set up for whatever, get the objectives on the board for what we're supposed to be doing that day. Then I teach English 9, 30 kids in each class for 3 hours. Typical day today, we're doing Kill a Mockingbird. And we were talking about, when the kids went to the church, and I really was trying to get the students to generate the questions for the reading as opposed to me generating the questions for the reading. So I had them pull out what they thought were important passages, and they read them out loud, and then we talked about them that way. So it was a way for me to see that they've done the reading without having to do a quiz, to hold them accountable for that, and also to get them thinking, because we really try to get kids to critically think here as opposed to just